Hey everybody, what's up y'all? Welcome back to the channel. TammyTalks here. Let's talk love and marriage Detroit. This is season 1, episode 3. Don't rock the boat. Alright y'all, so if you're brand new to the channel, I break down TV shows one recap at a time, interjecting my own thoughts, opinions, and theories into each and every recap. So if y'all enjoy that type of content, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, thumbs up the video. Let's talk about it down below. Alright, let's get right into this episode. So the episode starts off right where the last one left off. Remember, they were at not Christina. They were at Latoya, Dr. Latoya's wine tasting at the wine bar for Opulence, and it's when Anthony got sassy with Christina's friend. Can't remember her friend's name. It was like Camille or something. But she got sassy. He got sassy with Christina's friend. So Christina jumps in and starts defending her friend, as she should, and is like, I don't like, she just asked a question. There's no, like, it don't take all that. And I don't think it took all that either, because what gets me is the fact that Anthony feels that he can ask any question that he wants to about Brandon and Christina's marriage. But the moment that somebody is like, why do you care? You talking about all this extra stuff. It wasn't necessary. So then Bravo comes in and said that Christina is holding Brandon back. See, Brandon has set a very bad precedent to where his friends feel that they can disrespect his wife. Because you are only going to disrespect somebody if you are given the clearance to do so. You see what I'm saying? He has given his friends the clearance to disrespect his wife, and that's why they're doing that. That's the only reason they're doing that. There is no reason for your friends to feel that they can tell your wife that she is disrespecting you or that she is holding you back. So Brandon says to Anthony and Bravo, you see, y'all are sprinting. I'm over here jogging in my career. Whose fault is that? Why would that be Christina's fault? Why? Maybe you just not good at your job, Brandon. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever maybe even considered the fact that maybe I'm just not good at this? Nonetheless, Brandon feels that Christina is oblivious to the shackles that she has on him. I said the shackles. Now we just going above and beyond to be So Christina says, you know what? Y'all can do whatever it is that y'all want to do. I don't care, because Brandon is screaming, you don't want people to think you're insecure. She's not insecure. She's not insecure. See, right there in that moment, I'd have checked the shit out of him, because now you're trying to embarrass her for no reason. For absolutely no reason. Even more than you're doing right now. So now Anthony is like, no, we're not blaming you. Anthony, you have been said that. Anthony, you're the reason all this got jump started off. All of this, to be real, because you mentioned y'all being at the club when he told you that he didn't tell his wife that. So Brandon is now saying that Christina is unsupportive. Christina feels that Brandon doesn't support her. When have you ever encouraged her or talked to her about her fashions or all the stuff that she wants to do? Respect and support is a two-way street. You can't expect me to be all in with you and you don't give anything or pour back anything into me. So Anthony then tries to say that no. We're supportive of both of y'all. Anthony, no, you're not. Again, Anthony is doing too much of this. And I really wish that Dr. Latoya would check him one good time. Stay out them people's business. Stay out of it. Because Anthony looks like the type that if somebody gets in his business, he'll be ready to kick, scream, and cry about it. Stay out their business. Stay out of it. What they have going on doesn't involve you. Brandon's career doesn't involve you. You have a studio. Why can't you help him yourself? Instead of focusing on what Christina's not doing, why can't you help him yourself? You say you have connection with Marvel and Disney Studios and all this kind of stuff. You can't do nothing for your friend? Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? But this is silly. This is the second time that we have seen Brandon and Christina fight in a public setting like this in front of people that should not know the inner workings or the inner issues that y'all have in y'all marriage. Y'all are not only embarrassing yourselves, but you're embarrassing Latoya. Because it ain't, y'all being out in the lavender fields is one thing. This is an event. So Christina said that she's tired of hearing that she's insecure when she's not, and she feels that Brandon should have had her back in that moment, as he should. Don't let no other niggas call your wife insecure. Don't let nobody else call your wife insecure. Absolutely ridiculous. I cannot believe that he's been allowing that. So Anthony gets up, he goes around the table, he starts rubbing on Brandon's back. We got you, bro. We got you. It's okay. Don't worry about it. We got you, bro. And it's like Anthony. Anthony. So now Anthony is telling Brandon that there's a better way to handle this. Yeah, by you staying out of their business. By you staying out of their business. That's the way to handle this. So Anthony, again, ignoring the fact that he started all of this. Brandon ignoring the fact that Anthony started all of this. So Christina then yells, said, I can have any man that I want. I said, oh girl. Brandon said, them is fighting words. Them is fighting words. Latoya's embarrassed because now everybody is at the end of the table looking like this. Y'all just show out in public for no reason. So Brandon and Christina are walking home from the venue. Remember, they live in New Detroit, okay, which I guess is downtown Detroit. And they're walking back to their penthouse. And Brandon said that her saying that she can have any man proves that she's insecure because people that are secure won't say that. She feels that Brandon uses her as a scapegoat for his failing career. And I agree. I agree with that. I think that Brandon feels that his career is not going the way that he wants. His career is not popping off the way that he probably feels that his career should be popping off. So instead of him acknowledging that, sitting in that, and then making the proper adjustments for that, he instead is going to blame her because that's the easier solution, right? Why would I try to make anything better when I can just blame my wife? Let's blame Christina. Let's use her as a scapegoat because then that way I don't have to really acknowledge the fact that, hey, maybe I'm just not as good at my job as I probably should be, right? Or I could be. So Brandon ignores everything that they talked about, everything that happens, and it's like, so do I have your full support to get out in these streets, you know? I was like, nigga, what? What? Christina said, look, she is never going to be okay with you being out in the clubs like that. That's not what she wants. She's not saying you can't go. She's saying that she doesn't want or she doesn't like the fact that you're doing that. It's semantics, but it's also two very different things. So Brandon said that part of being a husband is being out. I mean, part of being a father is providing for your children. It's not just throwing money at your children either, though. And I think so many men get that confused. Being a father, being a good father, is not just being like, yeah, I bought you everything that you have in this house. I buy you everything you ask for. That's not only it. Brandon then says that when he comes home, 99% of the time, she's not nurturing, she's not catering to him, she's not excited. She said, well, shoot, you don't be excited when I come home either. You're not an excitable person. Brandon takes that and says, do you even want to be with me? What are you talking about, Bun? What are you talking about, Sister Bun? Do y'all follow Nat Carlton Banks on Instagram? He were like, Brandon, when I see him, I see Sister Bun. Why is your hair like that? Why is your hair like that? So he then asks her, do you want to be with me? And she would say, yes, of course. He asked her, why? Now, Christina, you should have said, do you want to be with me? Because you're the one that seems to have most of the problems. Brandon has said that he doesn't know what to do. He goes for a walk. She goes upstairs in the penthouse. We pan over to Latoya and Anthony. They're packing up everything so that they can head home. Latoya says she's embarrassed. She's embarrassed for herself. She's embarrassed for Christina. She's embarrassed for Brandon. She's embarrassed for the for the owner of the wine bar. She's embarrassed. Latoya said that she this is the second time that they have seen them have this type of, big argument in front of everybody. It ain't cool. Like, it's just not something that we should be privy to. So Anthony said that he now sees that Brandon may need to invest more time into his wife, like he did, like Anthony did with opulence. Latoya was like, we both put up the money. Anthony said, but I put up a bigger check. Anthony is such a queen. He is such a little queen. Ugh. So Anthony said that Latoya is only worried about her image in this moment. And I feel like, yes, we're on TV. I'm promoting a wine brand. I'm also a doctor. Yes, I'm worried about my image. Yes. The way that Brandon and Christina yell and do all that stuff in front of everybody is not okay. It's a reflection on me because this is my event. Hell yeah. I'm worried about my image. Everybody is worried about their image. Your image is what precedes you before you can start doing business and all this other stuff. Brandon, why aren't you worried about your image? I mean, Anthony, a little bit more. Because you acting a fool on here, my guy. So Latoya said that it's not their business and they need to work it out themselves. Agreed. We didn't get Kobe and Russell. So Kobe's having like a little brunch with her parents. And basically the gist of this entire conversation is it's not that Kobe doesn't want it's not that Kobe doesn't, not only that Kobe doesn't want Russell to be a pastor, she felt that he should have talked to her and communicated this with her before enrolling in divinity school. That's all she said. So her father and her mom are both like, well, when you have a calling, you answer to God first. All well and done. Kobe does not have a problem with that. Kobe's issue is the fact that he had been in school for weeks and talked to other people about him and then told her. She wanted to be informed of the plans. Her whole thing is Russell is not superior to her, even though he is the man of the house. He's not superior to her, and she just wants to be informed. That's it. Her dad was playing it safe. Her mom just kind of fell in line. Kobe does not want to be a preacher's wife. She doesn't want to be a first lady. So Anthony is at work. I guess he's doing like a lookbook for something with his studio. And he decides to call his girlfriend Brandon. He FaceTimes him. So Brandon is like, I didn't think it was a big deal that night. You didn't think that your argument was a big deal? You didn't think the way that you let these other men call your wife insecure and chastise your wife and tell your wife that she's the reason that your career is not on and popping, whatever that artist was, wasn't it. Because if it was, she would have blown up by now. Wasn't this filmed in 2022? Maybe it's you, Brandon. Just maybe it's you. So Brandon is like, I'm over it. It's F everybody at this point. You see Anthony's heart sink. You still okay with him. Y'all still besties. Y'all bromance is still strong. So Brandon said that we might even be separated. I ain't talked to her since that night. She went upstairs. I went for a walk. I stayed at the other house. Like, we ain't even talk. Anthony tells him, get your wife back. You doing too much. You doing too much. Way too much at this point. Brandon is in his confessional. It's refreshing to hear that other people, that someone else has marital issues too. Nigga, what? Talking about some marriage is so hard. Why do y'all think marriage is easy? If marriage was easy, nobody would ever get divorced. Why do people think marriage is so easy? Anthony, before that, Chelsea, that's her name. So Chelsea meets up with Christina, and she wants to get styled for an event she has coming up. Christina feels the way that Brandon allowed his friends to talk to her the way that they did, and you should. That's something that should be checked in immediately. So Christina feels she should have never been put in a position where she is going against not only Brandon, but both of his friends that are piling on her, calling her insecure, and telling her that she is the reason for Brandon's failure of a career. It's not cool. It's absolutely not cool. She also said that she is somebody that is always going to fight. She's a fighter by nature. So the only way that this relationship is going to end is if Brandon actually like leaves or walks out of it. Girl, I mean, why fight for somebody that don't want to be there with you? Why fight for somebody that disrespects you? Why fight for somebody that puts you into a position to be belittled by other men in a group setting like this? Why fight for somebody that is telling the world that you're insecure and throwing it in your face? Why fight for somebody that clearly you don't trust? Why fight for somebody that lies to you about the smallest of mundane things? Why fight for somebody that will lie to you and tell you that they are in church when they're clearly at a club? Why fight for somebody that gets an attitude when you FaceTime them? Why fight for somebody that clearly doesn't want you? That doesn't. That doesn't. Christina, you can do much better than this. Mr. Bun ain't it. So Anthony and Latoya go out on a date. They said that they date at least once a month. You have to continue to date in your relationships and in your marriage. So they're out on a date, and what I'm going to get sick of hearing about is New Detroit. Okay, we get it, y'all. The show is called Love and Marriage Detroit. Man, I love Detroit. You know, New Detroit. We popping up. We get it. Y'all don't have to sell us. Y'all don't have to sell us. So they're at this spot, and Anthony is like, I have to go back to Atlanta for something for the studios. I know you don't want to hear that. Latoya, so let me tell you right now, you don't have to keep saying that. I don't have a problem with Atlanta. It's annoying. Christina, watch this scene. Check it in real quick. Don't keep making it seem as if I have a problem with Atlanta or I have a problem with you working. You know what the issue was, and it's not the fact that you went down to Atlanta real quick like so to do something. That's not the issue. So she talks about how when Anthony was down in Atlanta, it was a lot going on with their kids. She said, we have black boys that go to suburban schools. They were experiencing racism and stuff like that. She did not have the full capacity to deal with that during the pandemic while she is a doctor. And I think they have a daughter too. I think they have 3 kids. She didn't have the capacity to deal with that. So, not alone. So that's why she needed him back to be present. Anthony feels that he should have been given the opportunity to try to make it work. He feels that he would have let her work. He would have let her try it. He keeps saying, I wasn't a deadbeat dad. She never said that. There's a difference between you being on the phone and talking to your sons after they experience racism and you being there and sitting in front of them and having that type of conversation with them in that manner too. There's a difference. And again, Anthony is choosing to ignore the issues, choosing to ignore this, all because he wants to go down to Atlanta. Just say that. I don't care about nothing you saying. I want this opportunity. I wanted to do this opportunity, and you should have just fell in line behind it. It's different if y'all are married with no children. Y'all have children, so no. During the pandemic wasn't the best time for you to get up and go to Atlanta and then fly back and forth with all them damn germs. It wasn't the best time. So Anthony says in his confessional that as the man of the family, you know, you're not allowed to say what's fair and what's not. Bye, Anthony. Bye, Anthony. Russell and Kobe go to like a gym to do like some type of little gladiator acrobatic type situation. And when they're done, he tells her that he just didn't know how to tell his wife that is a preacher's kid that he wanted to be a pastor. And she said, what? I thought you wanted to be a chaplain. Where did pastor come from? And he would say, yes, I mean a chaplain in the Army Reserves. See, Russell is lying. Russell wants to be a pastor. Russell wants a church and a congregation. Russell's not just trying to be a chaplain because that rolled out way too quickly. Kobe tells him, I do not want to be a first lady. She is valid in feeling like that. Because when you become the first lady of a congregation, you get a whole nother set of responsibilities. That is a decision that that is going to severely impact her. It's not him deciding, okay, I want to go from being a teacher to an architect. I want to, I want to be a plumber now. I want to be an influencer. I want to go to medical school. I maybe want to go to law school. You are choosing a career that's going to greatly affect her. She has every right to feel the way that she does. So Russell says in his confessional, it's very off-putting to him that she's not the cheerleader that he wants her to be. She might have been if y'all had sat down and had a conversation about it and really outlined and talked about what you wanted to do, Russell. But the fact that now you've already started, and again, you're telling her what you want to do, yeah, it's not going to go the way that you thought. It's just not. So the final scene is Anthony and Latoya. They're out with some friends on the boat. I guess this guy used to be the head coach of the Detroit Lions. So they're out on the Detroit River, and once again, we hear about how pretty Detroit is. Anthony, it's like, yeah, I love Detroit. My mom and my grandparents always said how pretty Detroit is, and wow, I can see it now. Latoya said, yeah, you think it's so pretty that you tried to move to Atlanta. I don't want to hear about Atlanta again from y'all. Latoya keeps saying she's over it, and she's clearly not. Y'all have not moved past this. Y'all haven't, because it's literally all y'all talk about. We are on episode 3. We don't know anything more about y'all aside from the fact that he went to Atlanta during the height of the pandemic, and clearly you were not over it yet. Is he still going back and forth? Why is this still topic of discussion? Did he cheat with you? Did he cheat on you down there with somebody? There has to be more than the fact that he went down there and was going back and forth for work. There has to be more to the story. So Latoya said they moved on. They haven't. Latoya thinks that Anthony resents her for it. Latoya then said that the kids didn't know what was going on. The kids thought they were separating. They were divorced. Did you just tell your kids daddy's down there for work? He works in the industry. Anthony feels that her family was attacking him, and he starts dry crying. What's a dry cry? A dry cry is when you try to get your voice to sound like this, but there are no tears coming out. He is saying how he wanted everyone to surround him and love on him. He yelling, he's being loud. I know that other couple was like, damn, I thought we were just going out for a nice boat ride today. Ridiculous on all fronts. Absolutely ridiculous. And that was the end of the episode. We see next week, it looks like Brandon is on this I Hate Kobe crusade still, and he's trying to turn Christina and Kobe and put them against each other. It's disgusting. It's childish. Why are the men on here so sassy? Let me know what you guys thought about this episode, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.